What's up, guys? So today is Easter. Happy Easter to everyone, and I hope you're spending some time with your families and you're able to enjoy some good food that I won't be able to enjoy, unfortunately. But figured I'd come on here. You know, on my YouTube, I always do the typical training videos, trying to diversify. Did like a little bit of the full day of eating for you guys, so I'm going to be doing a little bit more touch updates here and there, kind of get you guys to know what's going on, and then answer some questions. Had a Q&A that I put up on Instagram that I'm probably going to answer, and then I'll be doing these from time to time. So if you're not following me on Instagram, make sure you are following at Colossus Ken. And yeah, so let's just get right into it. So it's Easter today, so we're about 4 weeks to the New York Pro. Prep's been tough the last few weeks, but we're going through. You know, we're going through. We're at the final stages. I think at this point, you know, we're kind of you get to that point in prep where everything is ready, but now you're just trying to see if you can bring in detail in more body parts, and then hope to God you don't start losing in others, right? So it's a little bit of give and take, playing here and there with it. So that's where we currently are with the prep. My food has gone low, so you know the tilapia is out, and the ground beef is out. We've taken that out of the mix and put the tilapia in. So things have been pretty tough. It's been a little bit rough, I'll be honest. Like at this point, I'm in the situation now where it's more of just a make it to the next day. You know, you wake up and your main goal is to get to bed and try and hit all the boxes that you can. So that's where we currently are. But prep updates outside of that, currently now, you know, we're in the low 250s. So I don't think there's much left at this point. Being in the low 250s, coming down from all the way from 285. So things are looking good. Cardio, we've backed off the step mill, just on the recumbent bike. So a lot of the heavy intensity interval cardio is pretty much done. My knee is still up 12K steps. So I try to walk on the treadmill, or thank God it's a little bit nicer now in New Jersey. So I'm gonna start taking walks outside, which would make things a little bit more decent for myself as well. So that's pretty much the prep update. Outside of that, me and the animal crew, we're definitely going to be doing some kind of meet and greet at the New York Pro. So if you want to meet me, I still haven't finalized the time with them, but we're going to try and see if we can do something kind of in between prejudging and maybe finals, so you guys get a chance, because you know how it is in show day. It's not great to meet a bodybuilder before prejudging, and after finals, you just want to get out of there and go eat some food. So we're going to try and do something in between. So if you haven't had a chance to meet me, we can, you know, talk, shake hands, sign some autographs, and what have you, take some pictures. So without further ado, let's look at what we've got so for some questions. So favorite pre-workout sups and meal for training. Do you like stim or non-stim? This is from Steve IG 5.1. I pretty much prefer stim pre-workouts, just because for myself, also being in a prep, you're going to need caffeine. You have little to no energy. But with Animal, for example, they just brought out the pump product. So that version has more pump properties than your typical standard pre-workout. So what I do is I combine it. So I'm getting the pump effects from that versus the primal pre-workout that I typically use. So I'm getting a pump effect and I'm getting the stem from the primal. So a little bit of both. But if I was in an off season, typically I just want like a nice tasting pre-workout and I'm pretty much good to go. All right. If you could train with any current or past bodybuilder in their prime, who? Train with any current or past bodybuilder in their prime, who? I'm not going to say, I know everyone always wants to train with Ronnie Coleman. I don't want to train with Ronnie Coleman. He'll kill you, he'll kill you. I think I would have liked to, maybe not one major person, but I think I would have liked to be in Venice in the 90s when bodybuilding was going on with the Flex Cormier crew, Paul Dillette, see how they train. Maybe get in there sometimes. I don't like training with people, to be honest with you. That's something that I just don't like. Even here in Jersey, we have a good bodybuilding community. You don't really see me collabing with a lot of people just because training is something that I always do for myself. So when you do that, for me, it has to be something like more of it's not really a serious workout. It's kind of like we're hanging out. Boys being boys, just hanging out type thing. So I wouldn't say I would want a training partner, but I would definitely like to see what it felt like to be in Venice in the early 2000s, late 90s, training with those guys. So great question. So this one's from Mike Condell, IFBB Pro. What do you consider the primary factor in your progress from pro card to now? It's a good question. A couple of things. I haven't spoken too much about my history as a competitor, but this turning pro to the debut was the first time I ever truly went into an off season where I was being coached and we were pushing the calories. The fat didn't matter, and actually on anabolics, to be honest with you, in an off season. In the past, the previous people I had worked with, they had always tried to restrict me in the off season. Different coaches have different training philosophies. The previous coach I had worked with in the past, he was all about keeping his people lean in the off season. He wanted lean gains, which in my opinion, when you really think about bodybuilding, it's a sport of extremes. You're looking for an unrealistic expectation that someone is going to stay lean and just going to keep getting bigger and bigger. When I got with Andrew, it was the opposite. He fattened me the fuck up. The first 3 months, I was a water turd going into North Americans. I'll see if I can post some pictures maybe over here of what that comparison looked like when I first started with Andrew, the actual starting point of our prep to the show. So he's a big believer in, in the off season, eat big, lift big, train hard, and then come time for prep, we shred it down, old school. And I respond very well to that. My body had been craving to grow for the last couple of years. So going into that time and just having that off season, my weight just kept climbing. I would always top out at 250 and they would always pull me back. But this time, with Andrew, it was like 250, then 260, then 265. And it's almost like he was like, I wonder where this guy's weight's going to stop. And then when we got to 285, he's like, okay, we need to bring it. We need to stop, because I got to like 289 one day, and it was like, okay, dude, we're getting too close. Maybe the next time, maybe we can do it. But I don't know if I'd ever be a 300 pounder off season. I'm not tall. So, and that 285 was pretty difficult, like living life, just walking around the block, things like that. So I think that's the major difference. And then, I talked about this on Robin Strand, Canadian Beef Podcast yesterday. Andrew and Sid really taught me how to be a pro bodybuilder. through and through, not just earning the pro card, but behaving like one, living like one, you know, eating your 6 meals, whether it's off season or, you know, contest prep, doing your cardio in the off season, wake up in the morning, go do your cardio. You know, my lifestyle hasn't changed much from when I was in the off season to the prep. So they really taught me and instilled in me what it means to be a pro. And I think those other factors, you know, people don't think about that. You know, those other factors that you don't do, like, you know, you're in the off season, you're going partying all the time, your diet is completely annihilated, and then come contest season, now you want to clean things up. It's gonna take you like 6 weeks, you know, 5-6 weeks to clean up the diet for your body to get accumulated and acclimatized before things start moving, right? It wasn't the case, you know. I ate clean throughout the off season, all the way into contest prep. So I've learned a lot since 2022. I started with Andrew in December 2022. So I've really learned a lot, and I've grown as a person, both physically and psychologically. You know, they instilled a lot of beliefs in me that I'm honestly thankful for, that regardless of what happens this prep, it's been a win already. It's been a win already for me. So great question, Mike. This one is from Chelsea Vogue. I know every prep varies. How's diet, or how hungry are you on a scale 1 to 10 this many weeks out? It's kind of a weird question, honestly. You're going to be hungry, you know. I'm always hungry. I'd say on a scale of 1 to 10, hunger is like a 7.5. You know, you eat, your like pre-workout meal is a little bit bigger, so you eat that and then you feel a little better. And there are also diet hacks that you can use. Like, I know oats, my body doesn't digest oats very, very quickly. And my post-workout meal is oats. So when I eat that meal, I know that I have a couple of hours where I'm going to feel good satiety before I start to feel hunger again. So I would make my oats with a lot of water, you know, so that my stomach is filled with just a lot of water. So tricks to help your satiety, vegetables as well is there. Diet Coke works too. As long as you're not overdoing it, it's not affecting your body composition. You know, I'd have like a can or two a day. That helps too with like just keeping you full. But yeah, hunger is a part of prep. There's just no way around it. What's your biggest goal or dream you're still working to achieve? So I have a lot of goals, obviously, like a lot of people, but I'm not going to go grandiose here. I think one of the biggest goals that I'm looking to achieve within the next couple is to own a house I can call my own. You know, we're not getting any younger. When you start getting into your 30s, you start to think about these things. Like, I don't want to rent. I don't want to rent for the rest of my life, you know. So home ownership for me is a pretty big deal right now. In fact, some of the moves I'm trying to make within the next couple of years, couple of weeks actually, is towards home ownership. You know, for the people out there that are watching this, if you're in your early 20s, teenager or whatnot, you really don't own anything till you have a home as an asset, you know, no matter what your bank account says. So I think for me, that's the biggest thing. And then eventually, you know, maybe start a family. You know, me and my girl, we've been together now, we're going on 5 years. So, you know, it's time to start laying some groundwork in terms of just life moments, you know. With this bodybuilding thing, we're in such a bubble sometimes that we forget that there's real life out there, that there's an honest real life out there to live. Like, I don't want to be done with bodybuilding and have nothing but my trophies and online people to, to show for it. So these are some things that I'm looking into. I think the home one is very, very, very big on my list. It's a couple of things I want to do. And obviously, like, once you have a home, you have a little bit more space. Like, I live in Jersey. Guys, I don't even have an outdoor grill. I'm using like a little Ninja grill at home, and I'm grilling for hours just to food prep. The little things like that. Like, I just want to be able to have an outdoor grill, put all my meats out, just basic living stuff that you don't really think about. So you start to get older, you're like, why am I living like this? This is bullshit. So yeah, I'd say that's probably the biggest on the list as of right now. How do you express yourself creatively? Two ways, actually. So one is bodybuilding. Bodybuilding is an art, and that's a way to express yourself. My physique that I'm building, this thing that I've been working on, is not necessarily for girls or attention. It's a part of me. It's a representation of my own work and my beliefs, and what I envision what the human body or what a good physique should look like. Of course, there's some caveats. I'm in the IFBB Pro League, so there comes a size factor that I'm not a classic physique guy. I'm gonna have to size up to stay in the open, right? But bodybuilding is one of those ways. The second way for me is actually photography. A lot of you don't know that, but I really, really love photography. It was something I've been doing since college. I even had a photography business at one point when I was in college. So, in the times when I have the time to go out there, and it's funny, like, these days I only get to shoot my girlfriend, like portraits when we're out or something. But like, I really love to just take a camera, and I've got a dozen cameras. It's kind of crazy. It's especially when it comes to prep. Oh my God, that's where the money flies out for photography equipment. But yeah, I love photography. That's something that is a way for me to detach, de-stress a lot of times outside of just the weights in the gym. Take a camera with me, and go out somewhere pretty, take some photos, and come back and see what that finished product looks like. So that's something I really enjoy. I've been learning a little bit of video now, just because of the times with, content creation of obviously YouTube that I'm trying to build. You can't just keep paying videographers, for every single video. Like, you have to invest some of that knowledge into yourself. So I'm applying some of that skills. I'm trying to learn some videography too. But my heart really lies in photography. So those are mostly the two ways that I express myself. More questions here. What's one thing you've always wanted to learn? One thing I've always wanted to learn. I guess, it's not like I guess it's in the same lines as that. Like, right now I'm learning video editing, but like, people that use like DaVinci Resolve, for example, and they have all the nodes, and like, they can, I can do like layer editing, but like really, really good video editing is something I think is really cool. I'd love to learn that. I think it's a really, really good skill. Something else I've always really wanted to learn. I don't really know. I feel like a lot of my passions and my hobbies, I just pursue them. I've been fortunate to be able to afford my hobbies, which is bodybuilding and photography. So, yeah, I don't think I have anything like, I guess, flying a plane, but it's a little bit out of the realms of reality, just in terms of the necessary time and schooling you need to take to actually learn it. I'd have to, go to pilot school or like take classes every weekend. I just don't have the time. It's just not a realistic thing for me. But that's the only other thing. I'd say maybe like flying a plane, you know, and then at that point, it's like, if you're not rich enough to own like a little plane, then what's the point? You just fly a plane, right? So, yeah. So yeah, I would say I'll wrap it up there with the questions. I'm gonna try to do this every week or every 2 weeks. So I want to make this a regular thing. I also want to start talking about just shows in general and bodybuilding, like things that happen in bodybuilding, but just from my take, my perspective. Not really. I'm not really trying to do like. I guess I'll give a little bit of show analysis, but like, I feel like with a lot of the information out there, a lot of times you guys don't get to hear from pros or active competitors, like how they actually see shows or how they view bodybuilding. I feel like a lot of people that give their critique on this stuff a lot of times are legends that have already been in the sport. So there's always sometimes a disconnect too with what is happening in the sport today versus when they competed, which is still fine. And then we have the other party, which is they never even competed at all. They just give their takes, and they're coming from a place, a place where they really don't know. They're just getting inside information, or someone's sending the stuff to them and then they're sending it out. So it's always good to hear sometimes here and there from an active competitor. But I gotta be careful though. I'm a competitor too, so I don't want to get in trouble if I say anything. And a lot of these guys, I respect them. I think they're all great champions. Like a good example is, a lot of this talk with Nick Walker that's been going on. It's like, dude, whether he was third or fourth 2 years ago versus today is irrelevant. He's been at the Mr. Olympia, and his last showing was that, and his physique has not degraded in any way. So for you to rate him and say, oh, I don't know if he's fourth or fifth or this, it's irrelevant. The guy is a champion, so give him his respect as a champion. It's that simple. I think sometimes in the industry, people forget that we bodybuilders and competitors were people too, and we put a lot of our lives on the line for a lot of this stuff because we love it, but people forget that we're also human too, and we have feelings, and there are a lot of things that we go through in our own internal lives that we sometimes bury or just put to the side just to make it to the stage. You know what I mean? Or like the typical example is, oh, well, there's a show next week. Like, why is he not stepping in the show? Like, bro, his financial situation, you paying for his flights. The guy's got no sponsors, you don't even know how he paid for the first show. You want him to do the second and third show, which sounds nice. Yeah, bodybuilders should compete more and compete all the time. But if you're not going to cover his show expenses, then don't say anything. You don't know his situation, So these are other things that no one talks about, right? Or it's like for a top level competitor to keep competing and you're not making any money from some of these shows. Like, why would you keep going to the next show and to the next show? And now it's just financial expenses coming out of your pocket and you're making nothing in return. At some point, you have to pull the plug and say, well, my bank account is getting erased. My health markers are getting erased, and I'm not getting anything to show for it. So we've got to pull the plug at some point and then, reassess and see if we come back the next season. But anyways, I rant. I hope you guys like this. If you guys want to see more stuff like this, I'll do it from time to time. I've got my setup now, so it should make it a little bit easier. I finally got a good tripod. Shout out Small Rig. They got some pretty cool stuff. Like, share, subscribe, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.